Yeah, I started small. So I started small, working with and learning from other investor developers as a remodeling general contractor. They were hiring me to do their projects, and
Yep.
started out remodeling some houses for a couple of investors that were, flipping them. And then I said, "Hey, I'd like to do that." And they said, "Well, find a deal and, we'll do a deal with you." So I got into flipping houses that way. And then I partnered with a developer friend of mine to start building spec houses. And he taught me how to do the spec house development game. And then I parlayed that into my model as a builder was I would take a position in land, I would tie up lots and developments, and then I would flip them to my clients and build them a house. And then I started developing the land and flipping to the clients and other builders and building houses. And then I started building commercial buildings. A lot of them were for some of the businesses I was doing. I would build the building for the business, or it could have been for somebody else. So I kind of learned by doing with others. I educated myself along the way. That's the biggest thing. I did not go to college, but I am very self-educated, constantly pouring into myself, constantly learning things. Back then we didn't have the internet. We didn't have mentors and coaches. It just wasn't a thing. So you had to learn by doing, and I learned it all the hard way by doing with others. And, some people took advantage of me, and I had a partner that taught me how to build spec houses when I first started out. And, he took advantage of me, but I learned, and I learned through that series of 4 or 5 houses we built together. I made money, but I definitely didn't make what I should have. And I learned, and just built from there. And just I'm not afraid. I'm a big thinker. I'm not afraid to take on deals and do bigger deals, and then ask for help and bring others in, and grow that way. So that's kind of how I did it. Along the way, just one thing to the next. Yeah, and that's what I tell people to do. If you want to learn how to get started investing in real estate, you have 3 ways. One, you can hire a coach to teach you. 2, you can invest passively. Or 3, you can go to work for somebody and learn from them, and or partner. So that's really the easiest way to get started. And that's what I did. But the biggest thing was I know and I knew what I didn't know. So I knew that I didn't know, and I would reach out and ask for help. And I wasn't afraid or ashamed to say, "Hey, I'm young. I want to learn. I'm a seeker of wisdom. I've never done this before. Will you partner with me and help me through it? I'll do whatever it takes. I'll bring capital. I'll do the work. You just tell me what to do and how to do it." So that's how I learned. I brought capital. I found the deals, brought capital, and did the work. And then I would partner with sophisticated developers that would teach me the rest of the way through it. Sometimes they would bring capital, things like that. But more importantly, I said, "Look, I've got everything. I need intellectual capital. I need your experience. I'll do everything else." So I was very fortunate that I had a building company that provided cash flow so that I could find the deal, bring the capital, and then invite somebody in, give them a piece of the deal just to teach me. Um, Sometimes today you don't have to do that. Finding a good deal is enough, but I wanted to make it a no-brainer, and that's how I learned. I said, "Look, I'm young, I'm hungry, I don't know what I don't know. Teach me what you know, and this is how we're going to do it." So the biggest problem I've had along the way, is that what you
Yep.
said?
Yep.
The fact that I didn't know what I didn't know. So where I was limited in terms of the types of opportunities. We didn't have big multifamily properties. We didn't have big commercial properties. It was a resort rental beach town. We didn't have a lot of hotels. So basically I was limited to what I knew in that area, which was building beach houses. It was still very good, and I built a nice, company for that area. I was one of the largest builder developers there. And then I learned the other things and started branching out into other areas off of the coast into the mainland areas. But probably the hardest thing for me getting started, being young, and back in the day when I started, it wasn't so easy to borrow money.
How old
So
were
I
you,
could
by the
not.
way? How old were
Oh,
you?
I was 29, probably 30.
Yep.
And I had some corporate jobs and things, but I didn't have any business experience, so I could not borrow from lenders out of the gate. So I had to build my company up, build my credit up to where I could borrow from banks. So I had to finance expensively on credit cards, and back then equity lines were not cheap, interest rates weren't cheap for construction loans. So it was a little bit harder to get money back then. It wasn't as easy to raise private investor capital like you can do now, and it wasn't a thing, right? Nobody was teaching that, so I didn't even know I could do that. And so it was just a little slower progression, and just took a little longer than it could take today with the way things are, knowing what I know, all the information that's out there. You could definitely scale and grow and scale a lot faster now than you could back when I was coming up.